Anderson, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here today for what will be an incredible couple of days. And I want to start by congratulating the organizers of the forum on your 20th anniversary. Your Excellency, Mona Al-Mari, as chairperson of the AMF's organizing committee and president of Dubai Press Club, you've put together a remarkable schedule of events and speakers from local, regional and global media to explore the opportunities and challenges faced by the industry during what is an unprecedented period of change. And I personally look forward to engaging with many of you over the next couple of days. Well, in an era of mass media and multi-platform storytelling, content has never been richer. And in making decisions about content creation, news editors are constantly challenged by a competing cacophony of interests, not least that of competition, of clickbait, and more. But the old adage that news media has a responsibility to inform and educate the public, to report what's in the public's best interest, rather than just simply what interests the public, is as true as it has always been. Well, given his role at the head of what is arguably one of the world's most powerful brands, DP World Group Chairman and CEO Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem has a unique lens through which to view the current state of the industry and its future at a time of what is great global upheaval. Some background for those who may be less familiar with DP World: it's established a global network of over 130 business units across 6 continents. It's now seeking to expand its revenue base by adding value to all parts of what is the integrated supply chain, with a focus on smart digital logistics solutions, even going, I'm told, as far as investing in the metaverse, and perhaps that's something we can discuss here today. Well, it's my great pleasure then to kick things off with this keynote opening session, Trade in an Ever-Changing Media Landscape. Please welcome to the stage Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem.
Good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Thank you.
Sit down. I started this morning by talking about a period of what is great global upheaval. A UN agency yesterday released a report warning the Fed and Western central banks are pushing the global economy into a recession, and that this tightening of monetary policy meant to fight inflation could inflict worse damage globally than the financial crisis of 2008 and the COVID shock in 2020. And this is tough. Current central bank policy has not been effective against price increases, with inflation mostly driven by commodity prices, especially energy, of course, and persistent bottlenecks in supply chains. The war in Ukraine certainly has exacerbated these headwinds. Sultan, given the issues facing international trade serve as an important barometer of global sentiment, I think it's really important that we start today with what you believe the key challenges facing global supply chains are at present, and just what your outlook for the global economy is at this point.
Well, global trade is very important. 70% of the finished products are traded unfinished, from oil to parts and many products. And so it's very crucial for international trade. Today, with this amazing spread of DP World. I can tell you I see growth. I'm not only reading reports, I am actually looking at numbers. The numbers are growing, even in China, even in ports in the Far East, in Africa, Europe with whatever happened in Ukraine impacting, but Europe has been stagnant since 2008. Latin America is growing, Africa is growing, so we have numbers. We have over 94 terminals around the world, and we see numbers every week growing. Trade is growing, definitely. And global trade is what kept inflation low. The decision to raise interest rates in fear of inflation has nothing to do with money supply, because the causes are high cost of energy, the causes are certain sanctions that have been imposed on some of the component of manufacturing. But global trade is very important to continue, and despite many policies to constrain that or to have protective measures around the world, it doesn't work. Trade, global trade allows comparative advantages, allows countries to have access to products which are better priced, more available than in many areas.
So you've got a pretty optimistic outlook. You're talking about growth in areas which, frankly, are seeing headwinds at present, and you are aligning your business and your strategy with what is a local growth plan. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid recently announced plans to boost Dubai's foreign trade to 2 trillion dirham. And this is against what is, and let's be quite frank, tough economic times globally, but as you have, you're keen to point out, you see some optimism out there. How does DP World's strategy align with that vision?
Well, just to continue, when you say there was a set goal to have the Dubai trade reach 2 trillion, it was decided in 2020 that should be the goal. I'm pleased to say that we will reach this year almost 1.6. So it's not far to reach from a billion or a billion one for us. During the pandemic, we learned a lot. Everybody talks about just-in-time logistics, but really, we are now going through a resilient logistics. We had a problem when the pandemic started. We have a problem when China locked down, and the world woke up to something very interesting. The world woke up to basically shortage of products. For example, I never really seen in my life where you order a car and now they'll tell you in 2 years. It's happening. In the past, maybe a limited edition. Today, it's common. Even the supply of mobile phones is not assured because of components. We had a problem in the supply chain. The supply chain is basically the process of where the cargo leaves the factory and what it goes through from port to shipping until the end. And it is one of the few industries that have never been disrupted. Still, it's backward. And so we were forced as part of the supply chain to change, to introduce a new methods. One of them is digitalization. So we started our own platforms to help us. And we have a platform called Cargos, and it has many parts of it. And what we did, really this is something we strive to do since 2016. Our role as a port-operated company was inside the port. But today, we felt we are impacted by the supply chain, and our role have expanded. Today, our role from the factory floor until the customer door, and everything in between, which means we will probably be involved in this. So we have our own logistics, our own vessels sometimes, trains, and so on. We're not going to replicate every part of the supply chain, but we'll be part of it. Using technology to have information about the cargo, to make it available, to allow people to book cargo faster, to even introduce trade finance. We have a huge team to do that. The other thing is also, so we have soft innovation, which we needed to do, and we have hard innovation. The hard innovation is an amazing project called Box Bay, which is basically, it's a new way of running a container, building a building instead of a yard, and we will try it for the first time in Busan, where it's very busy, our port. Another, I believe, happy news I have is that many countries today, and many companies actually, are looking at producing in the country of consumption. It's a concept called nearshoring. And nearshoring means that you're going to produce where the consumer is. And that is basically what will happen. It really happened because of necessity. China is locked down and products are not moving. And also, the Far East has its own complexity. Cost of production is high in the Far East. And so nearshoring means that you will see people producing. Like Apple, they are now producing Apple in India. And many others will follow suit. I believe many high-tech industry, you will see them produced in developed countries. Imagine industries have run away from developed countries to cheaper labor. But today, it's the age of the brain. Every product and smart product you use today is really a product that uses nanoparticles, which is something you can see with your eyes, all made by machine. The mobile phone is made by a machine, television is made by a machine, many products are made by machines. So these machines can be moved easily.
You are bullish on global trade, and I would expect you to be so. And you are bullish on trade's possibility to impact societies. You are talking to an audience of media professionals who may be reporting on and may feel personally some skepticism about globalization and a loss in confidence of the value of global trade, given the sort of global economy and the circumstances and the headwinds that we face at present. Interest rate increases alone won't solve the problems that we face. They could exacerbate already ailing developing economies, and you've been talking about the opportunities for those. To this audience of media professionals, what's your message about how the industry reports on trade, how it helps to set an agenda, and with DP World positioned as a bellwether on global trade flows, how is your organization adapting not just its operations, but its message?
Regarding the media? Well, there's a lot of misinformation in the world, a lot of fake news, and I think media role is really to report the truth. Our big problem today is sometimes media news are in a hurry to broadcast a very new information that came, breaking news and so on. But in my opinion, many times these news are fake or not true. And unfortunately, it goes, especially in the social media, where people get it immediately. It is faster than even the news you hear. And I would say that a good journalist and a good news agency, which will tell the truth, because fake news And untrue news causes company to lose money, causes company sometimes to lose reputations. And I mean, the funny thing is, WhatsApp, a lot of people who read in WhatsApp messages, they believe it. But I can tell you, 90% of what you read as a message from somebody in WhatsApp has no really authenticity. And the best thing always, whatever you read, Google it. You'll be surprised. Breaking news that you don't see it in the news. How come is that true? So the media has a role, a very important, noble role, in my opinion, to write what's true. When you read a newspaper, before the social media, which took everything, you see a journalist who's really famous. Why? Because he has ethics, he works hard to get the right information, and the information he broadcasts are true, and people listen to him. This is what we need to see in the media.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning, the CEO and Chairman of DP World.
Thank you very much.